black man wants something.
This is BLACKWATCH with Commanding General YAHANNA, the only man to lead blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans.
God made man on this earth. The white man he make man. God made man. God want man to obey him.
Bringing you real news.
We don't need a black man in the White House. We need a black man in every black house.
For many years, there's a lot of black people who didn't realize how deep the racism of white America was.
You ain't gonna do nothing unless you decide where you gonna stand at with the Most High.
This station is now the ultimate power in the universe.
Righteous solutions to issues plaguing our nation.
Boy, you better wake up and see the power that is within blacks, Latinos, and Native Indians.
Join us every Monday from 9 to 11 p.m. BLACKWATCH. Let the show begin.
Yeah. What's going on, fam? ISUPK.com is the website. Commander General YAHANNA here, doing it up like we do every Monday night. Got the heavy hitters in the building with me as usual. Get ready to come back on it, man. But we're gonna jump right up in it, man. Get right down to it. Hey, David Chapelle. Oh, wait, before I get to David Chapelle, what is this controversy, y'all, with this football coach?
CancelCulture, sir.
I believe his name is Jon Gruden, sir.
Jon Gruden.
Now, this cat was like a whiz kid. I remember back when I was young.
Okay.
A football phenom, whiz kid. Everybody wanted him to be a coach. I believe he won a Super Bowl back in the day.
Come.
And I think he's been coaching the new Las Vegas Raiders for the last 3 years.
Okay, so he's a big cat.
He's probably the most famous, biggest coach in the NFL. And that's
wow.
He's probably definitely the biggest coach in the NFL.
Wow. That is pretty damn big. Go ahead.
So now, you die. Let me know when you're ready. So now, sir, this week, there's an investigation. Somehow there's a criminal investigation of the Washington football teams, which used to be called the Redskins.
Okay.
I believe they were participating in workplace discrimination.
Which I ain't surprised, seeing how long it took for them to drop the name the Redskins.
Forget about it. So now, they're going through. They had an FBI warrant to seize all of their emails.
Okay.
In their emails, someone found emails from Jon Gruden, and of course, someone from the NFL leaked those emails to the press.
Dang.
I believe Officer Yedaya has the story from it.
Come on with it.
CancelCulture. Jon Gruden resigns as Raiders coach after more leaked emails reveal homophobic and misogynistic language.
When they say homophobic, sir, he was calling Roger Goodell this byword for homosexual, the F word.
And why was he doing just out of hatred?
Well, because Roger Goodell at the time, the commissioner of the NFL, was trying to enact rules to make the football less violent, more safety conscious.
Oh,
and a F word,
which that
make the NFL more safety conscious and to avoid concussions.
I got you. He
started allowing transgenders in the NFL.
Well, he started to allow openly gay men. Obviously, you die.
If I may, sir, Jon Gruden criticized and called Roger Goodell the F word because Jon Gruden believed that Roger Goodell and the NFL and their committee forced the then coach of the St. Louis Rams, Jeff Fisher, to draft the sodomite Michael Sam.
Damn.
That he forced him to do that.
Like as a political move.
Connor will come.
Damn. So once again, the dirt spilling out that really this whole black gay agenda, this whole black agenda that they pushing is really contrived. Not an actual thing, but something they create and are pushing, correct?
Connor will come.
You die?
Connor will come. It says Jon Gruden is out as the Las Vegas Raiders head coach. Gruden informed his staff on Monday night he is resigning from his position in wake of leaked emails in which he repeatedly used insensitive language, as the NFL media first reported, as CBS Sports' Jason Lockefour confirmed.
You could bring it back to us, Murad, like that. Like that's strong. It's already bad enough that he's getting away with the fact that he was putting this out there. But the bigger thing is, which is always on my mind, is what are they doing in the dark to influence and bend us away from the Most High that is not coming out? But there's even more in this when you start to go down the river of Colin Kaepernick, and I know y'all gonna tear it up more than me. This is sounding like some real dirt of theirs coming out because of what they've been doing.
Speaking of bending us away from the Most High, the entire sports industry is gay.
Dang.
All of it is gay. Anything that our oppressor does will be done with corruption and subtlety and selfishness, and with the intent to corrupt the next generation. And that's anything. That's whatever he does, no matter what it is. His religious institutions, his sports, his financial institutions, the job that's on the 16th floor of some skyscraper is trying to rape women, have sex with somebody's wife, and steal from someone.
That's right.
Whatever he does. So lo and behold, the same thing is happening in football. That's it. So John, they found these tapes. He was talking about black men, talking about how dark they were. He said one coach or one player was as dark as a midnight sky without stars. That sounds like an old school Judite, diss. He said he was black as the midnight sky without stars. He kept talking about how black they were and how big their lips were.
Yeah.
And calling the commissioner the F word because he was trying to make football safer. And of course, they started hiring women referees. Forget about that. He couldn't stand none of that. And he thought Roger Goodell was just changing football, making football, in essence, less masculine. Right? And of course, here's the thing to learn if you're watching this story. None of it is masculine.
Right.
It was never masculine to begin with. And I believe Yedai has another story about that. None of it was ever masculine because of who's in charge of it. If you don't know that with anything that you do for our oppressor, if you don't know he's trying to have sex with you, I don't give a damn what it is. If you're working at the grocery store, he's trying to have sex with you. He's trying to steal from you. He's trying to corrupt you. He's trying to turn you into a drug addict if you do anything.
Right.
For the life of me, I'll never understand why to make music do you have to be a drug addict? Why is it that drug addiction is synonymous with being a musician? Like, if you think about it, you accept it like, he's a musician. He raps, so clearly he has to get high to make the records. He has to get high before he freestyles. You got to get high before you play the guitar. You got to get high. You can't rap without getting high.
Right.
Why? Like, why can't you can't imagine without drugs? All of us were children. You used to imagine, just get up in the morning and imagine. You go to the park, as far as you know, you're in a plane. You go to Chuck E. Cheese, that mouse is real. But now to make a song, you can't make it without getting high. Someone has told you that. Someone has told you that to be a musician, you must get high, because when you're high, you sign terrible contracts.
That's right.
And so now someone will tell you, if you want to be a football star, you got to let Coach Sandusky teach you football. You got to let Coach Sandusky, you got to let Mike Tyson's trainer fiddle with your cup. You got to let Simone Biles' doctor check your vagina. Whatever you're doing for our oppressor, he's going to find a way to abuse you.
Yep.
And I don't care what it is. Anything. You die.
Carnival Khan. He said ex-Michigan football star says he was abused by a team doctor. Now he's demanding answers.
This is the University of Michigan, the Wolverines, right?
Carnival
The
Khan.
University of Michigan. There's some big lawsuit now because similar to the Simone Biles story, sir, the men are going to the doctor to get their football physicals. Meanwhile, they getting fiddled, diddled, and coiddled up in that doctor's office. They went there for the examination. They wondered why there was a bottle of wine and candles set up in there. They didn't know what was going on. And so now he's in there checking them brothers. Check Isley brothers playing in the background of the doctor's office. It was hell. So they all got molested from the doctor at the Michigan Wolverines. And one brother is out there doing a sit-in. What is he doing out there?
Carnival Khan, sir. It says for over a week, a former college football player has camped out in a pop-up tent in front of the historic 22-room residence of the University of Michigan's president.
And how long? When did he get molested?
Carnival Khan. It says John Vaughn, a star running back for the Wolverines in 1988 and 1989.
You see that, sir? That's how long-lasting that trauma is. This cat got fiddled by the doctor back in the 80s. He's sleeping in a tent, I think, out in front of the office. Is that right?
Carnival Khan.
He pitched a tent in front of the office. He's sleeping out there to try to bring attention to what this doctor did to him. So,
yeah, I'm here. I'm hearing it. I'm amazed by it. I'm amazed that it still goes on and nothing happens. And if I could go back to this coach again, this coach made all these statements about brothers, and now get me right on this. They did not remove him. Did they remove him, or just recently they removed? Meaning, have these things gone on, and they knew about it? You can bring it back to me, Murad. And they knew about it, and then did nothing about it. That's what I want to know, because they immediately shut down Colin Kaepernick. And so my question is, how much did they let this Edomite get away with these statements, and who knew about it?
If I may, sir, the owner of the Las Vegas Raiders, Al Davis Jr., who was Jon Gruden's best friend, he knew about the comments that Gruden made about the brother DeMaurice Smith's lips and about his lips, and the other comments that he had about other black players. His thought that it was going to blow over. However, when the homophobic stuff came out and the misogynistic stuff, that is what forced them to fire Jon Gruden, for him to get resigned.
That's what I wanted to hear you, Dyer. Give it up. Because that's where the problem lies. I mean, you brought this up early. Like, that's where the daggone problem falls. That this cat here was allowed to talk about us like a dog.
Yep.
And they didn't worry too much about it becoming a problem when he was talking about us. When he was dogging us and talking about us and saying racist things about us, they knew about it. They knew about it, and they could give a damn about it. But the minute the program, which is to alter the sexual identity of black men, the minute that program got affected, that's when they went into a panic. That's when they went into a panic. That's when they was worried about it. That's when they was coming right with it. And that brother had the right comment. That's the same thing, David. That's why I'm bringing it up. Judah Lemba, okay, you got it right. Like, that's why the David Chapelle comments was so important. And let me tell you something. Every black man should feel the attack and understand what it is now. You understand? Like, black men are under a spiritual demonic attack, and the worst part is it's being disguised as civil rights.
There you go.
It's being disguised as equality. It's being disguised as everything that was supposedly given to us in the civil rights movement now has to apply to your sexual orientation, and yet it's really being used to destroy masculine black men the most important thing, that commodity we could ever have, more than gold. You die, get me that scripture where the Lord said, I shall make a man more precious than fine gold. More important than gold, more important than diamonds, more important than your career, more important than even your children, more important than your education, more important than anything in your life, your house, your car, your land, whatever. The most important commodity in the black community is black men. That's the most important commodity. That's why that is under the greatest attack. And as long as that's attacked, it's not a problem. But if you push back, or if you get exposed for attacking those that would change our sexual identity, then you got a problem. Then you got a problem. Then you should be afraid. That's when the owner got afraid, correct? Well, that just rests my case on the whole thing. Read it for me, out.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 13, and verse 12. I will make a man more precious than fine gold.
Let me tell you something, Out. That's why you are a dumbass and the Lord is smart.
Right.
You understand? That's why we as a people are the dumbest thing in the world without the Most High. He is the one that's smart. He is the one that'll put value on everything that should have value, because he knows the real value of things. You think gold and diamonds is the most valuable thing. They making gold and diamonds in a laboratory now. Okay? They can make a diamond in a laboratory. They can spin up a diamond, a ruby, all that in a laboratory. That's not the most important thing. What is the most important thing is a living, breathing, Lord-fearing, masculine black man. That's the biggest commodity in the black community. Right. And the minute the black and Latino and Native Indian community recognizes that, you are going to add value to yourself that will add value to your nation. And like the Lord said, seek ye the kingdom of heaven first, and all these things will be added on to you. You raise black men out of the gutter that they're in, off the drugs that they're on, off of the psychological madness that they've been going through. You get them out of the other nation's military, like we're gonna talk about Colin Powell tonight. Yeah. You understand? And you retrieve him back to being a man of God, and you have added to your nation and to yourself the most important thing you could ever have in as a people. And then once again, it's why Satan is trying to destroy. Satan ain't trying to take away your money. There's plenty of millionaires. There are millionaires and billionaires that are black and Latinos. You got Latino millionaires, multi-millionaires, and same with blacks. You have all that. But what you will not be allowed to have is cohesive, intelligent black men coming together. That is not allowed. And look how shameful, if I could, y'all, real quick, look how shameful it is that 80% of the players in the NFL are brothers. And meanwhile, they can openly send emails and find information out about coaches that are full out racist, and they don't even worry about it. If they think it'll blow over, don't even worry about it. But the minute you open your mouth about the LGBT, they break ties with that, which shows you that the empire presses what it wants to press on you, and it has brainwashed your mind. Mm-hmm. And you got to open your mind. You got to say to you got to wake up and be like Christ said. You must be born again. You got to wake up and say to yourself, I am nothing and I don't know nothing, and everything I've ever known, I've been brainwashed into knowing, and I don't know if it's even right. And then you could sit down with the scriptures and, like a newborn baby, learn the knowledge of the Most High, and then you could match it against the world, against this world, and then you'll know real what is right and wrong. And thank the Most High in Christ for the Bible. There should be a solid gold and solid granite Bible. Like, they done put all them ancient stupid ass records from them nations on stone tablets and steles and papyruses and all of that. They should have did the same thing with the Bible. The Bible, they should be digging up in the earth 1,000 granite stone Bible. Instead of all them damn monuments they built in Egypt, all them obelisks, they should have built one with all the records of the Bible on it. And brother, then the world would have had something worth some value. But anyway, that was my point on that. I just wanted to jump in on that because it's insane how he's getting away with this up until now. And he's still not paying for the black comments. He's paying for the LGBT comments, right or wrong?
And sir, if I ain't mistaken, he resigned himself. He ain't get fired. They let him resign instead of fired. Like, you normally, if that had been a black Hispanic Native Indian, they would have fired him. He resigned.
They allowed him to get, they said, thank you, we're going to let you get up out of here quietly. That's what that means when they say you resign. It means they telling you we got to fire you, but we're going to let you go out on your own and do it how you want.
Give him some more severance pay, some package.
You so right. They're going to lay some good cash on him and get him set up. Probably already talked to a few other people about getting him some more work and business and all that. And then they'll cut him loose.
Sir, well, he had $100 million contract. So I know they gave him a percentage of that money because he was close with our Davis Jr.
And the Raiders is good this year. They playing some ball.
Jon Gruden is not going on welfare.
Good. That's right.
He lost his job. He'll be all right.
He'll be just fine. And the sad part is once the part that just burns in my gut is the fact that after all these years, a multi-billion-dollar set of corporations that has 80% of its participants are black, and meanwhile they don't own any of that corporation. A smidget here and there, a smidget. Some blacks like Jay-Z and them were allowed to invest. Spike Lee and others allowed to invest so they could feel like an owner. But they don't have controlling interest in any of them. And it's a shame that they don't own them. And it's a shame that even they couldn't get to own them with all the players. Even that old Uncle Tom, which I consider Uncle Tom till he opened his goddamn mouth about his own black men. And that's that Michael Jordan until he opened his damn mouth about anything helping ours. And that Uncle Tom tried with all his Tomism to avoid saying a damn thing. And they still showed him their ass and the door when he came along trying to be a part of it. Am I lying?
You are not, sir. If I could,
Please.
Michael Jordan and Jay-Z own a sports team the way Uncle Ben's owns the rights company. They don't own it at all. They're employees. Jay-Z didn't buy up the Nets. Jay-Z works for the Nets. He gets paid in stock for publicizing the Nets, for wearing Nets hats and talking about Brooklyn and the Nets. And that's the same thing Michael Jordan was doing, and all of them. They don't own those companies. They're spokespeople to get paid with some stock.
And them they had to buy their way to be the spokesperson.
Yes.
And they had to pay Esau to be the spokesperson to get their little percentage to act like they're owner so they can hobnob in the face of other wealthy blacks and act like, this is success. And let me tell you something, man. If black men Latino men come together in the righteousness of the Most High, then all of this, we're gonna be able to shut all this down. All this is like the dirt of it all is going to be exposed. Something happened to me down, if I could, real quick, little slight sidebar. Something happened to me down in Houston, Texas. You know what I mean? You can bring it back, bro. Something happened to me down there in Houston, Texas. I went to the Buffalo Soldier Museum. I mentioned this to the brothers earlier. And I went up to the Buffalo Soldiers Museum, and as I was entering in, there were black police officers out front guarding it. It's the only museum for the so-called Buffalo Soldiers, and it's in Houston, Texas, in the community college in Houston, Texas. I was a little surprised that they actually had a real museum, even as small as though it was. They did actually have a museum, and the stories in there was horrific, which I will be bringing out in a later tape. But my point was this. The black officers were talking to me, and they brought up, once they realized who I was, they began to talk about how, they have worked very hard to not have the controversial police stories as much as they could in Houston that they have in other cities around the country. And I felt good about it because the fact that they got the clear impression now that we as black men are not taking it anymore when it comes to abusing black people. And black officers have heard the message that came from us and are now trying to do their actual job, which is to curtail these racist attacks on black men mostly, but black people in general. They're trying to stop those racist attacks. And they should be trying to stop those racist attacks. They should be trying to end those attacks. And so that's what they've been working on lately. You know what I'm saying? So this was it here. We went down to the Buffalo Soldier Museum and saw all the work. I mean, these brothers right here, this is once again another example. And I explained this to the officers that were outside, that they are yet another victim after 100 years of using black men as soldiers, and in this case as sports figures, semi-soldiers, to fight the wars of the nation and the empire, and receiving next to nothing in exchange. I mean, these brothers died broke, destroyed on morphine. These brothers' homes was destroyed. Some of these brothers came back from the military and had to beg their former slave masters. They had been freed now after the war. They had to beg their former slave masters to go back to work on the former slave masters' plantations. And some of them had to go as far as beg the slave master to not rape their daughters who were not free. They went and fought for the freedom, got the freedom for Esau, and had to beg the same slave master for a job now that they were free, and had to beg him not to rape their daughters. And also, too, they do not bring out how these brothers was used not just by the empire, but by the Philippines and others to fight for their freedoms, man. These brothers freed other empires from oppression, especially when America betrayed them. And we're going to go all into it, man. We're going to do a whole tape on this because what they did was horrific. And that's what's going on in this NFL. And to lay down and for it to not be addressed is ridiculous. For Colin Kaepernick to not be playing in the NFL, it's supposed to be right now. It's supposed to be impossible to fire Colin Kaepernick. They supposed, instead of being so scared of comments about the LGBT community, they should be scared to death that if they fire Colin Kaepernick, that the whole NFL might get shut down. But of course, that's not the problem. That ain't even the issue. But if you say something about the LGBT, then they ready to shut it all down. And that shows you who's the power behind these programs. And I'm done with it. I just wanted to get that in. The water, too. I think everybody understands where I'm coming from with it. You know what I'm saying? So that's it. Go ahead. So
good. Well, you might want to go into the Dave Chapelle story next.
Yes. Let's spin that right in.
Go ahead.
Connor Wakan. Cancel culture. Dave Chapelle and other comedians who have taken sides.
Keep going.
Connor Wakan. As cancel culture becomes more and more ambiguous in a show business, comedians are finding it particularly difficult to ignore. And most recently, Dave Chapelle has found himself in the crosshairs of people calling for him to be canceled and Netflix to make some kind of amends for giving him a platform to espouse comments that may be deemed transphobic. Connor Wakan. Says, however, Dave Chapelle.
I would avoid that one there. You cutting in on Netflix there. I don't think you could do that. You probably got to use still shots.
Keep going.
Connor Wakan, sir. It says, Chapelle is far from the first comedian to speak directly about cancel culture, with some supporting it as a method of accountability to modern comedians and other liking it to the McCarthyism of the 1940s.
Sir, if I could, I might be able to abbreviate the story for you. So
Go
Dave
ahead.
Chappelle is going to do jokes about transgenders and about the power that transgenders and gays have in America now. He's going to talk about how he said nigger for years. And of course, gangster rap. Gangster rap, no one in gangster rap gets canceled for literally talking about killing niggers on every song. They get Grammys for it.
Yep.
But he is in danger of getting canceled for making a joke about a transgender man.
Right.
We're going to talk about it all through the special. And of course, everyone knows it's absolutely true because you get canceled. You lose your job for speaking about gay people in a negative fashion, but you will not get canceled for shooting a black person, which is what gangster rappers love and tout and glorify.
That's right. You are absolutely right. Like, you are absolutely right. Like, you will not get canceled for it.
Right.
You will get glorified if you are a rapper and you talk about it, which, once again, like, if I could, I know I'm hammering this a lot, y'all that's watching at home, but I'm trying to make a point that you got to understand that the agendas that come down, that you tie yours, and this is especially for millennials and for Gen Zers. Them millennials and Gen Zers, you better wake up and not get played by the programs that they institute and get you on board and make you think you're supposed to get the wind in your chest to go push some program about LGBT rights, when that's a program they're pushing and making you feel like you are having a civil rights moment. You understand? And you're going to stand up now, and you got all these young college students walking around in the mindset like they got to fight for LGBT. You touch an LGBT person out here, you going to jail. They're going to lock you up, brother, faster than they lock you up for touching a white woman, for whistling at a damn white woman. That you touch one because that's their agenda. And the problem is you Gen Zers and you millennials, you come and jump on board with it and think that, you know, you at the tip of the spear of fighting controversy and don't even know that you are the person that's being used to push an agenda. Meanwhile, killing us, selling dope to each other. I mean, the horrific things that have gone out in the music industry, none of it gets cut. None of it gets canceled. No pushback, no pressure for it. None of it. It's glorified, like General Muhammad was bringing out. So what does that say, man? What does that say? You can't get on board with everything, which, once again, I got to go back to that Bible. That Bible is so important. You can bring it back. That Bible is so important because that Bible is what gives us the measuring line. It gives us the stage to know what we should and what we should not do. What we should stand up for and what we should not stand up for. And if you think you already know, you are completely brainwashed and you need to be revamped and learn all over again, man.
Right.
Because they pushing these agendas on us. And it was so right for him to come out and push back up against it, because it doesn't make any sense. You understand? And listen, and if I could, two other things, generals, if I could. One, that it's almost like black men know it's right, but can't push back on it. Yeah. Like you know that there's something wrong with the whole vibe of us killing each other or talking about killing each other and selling dope to each other and whoring our women out. But it's like, as a black man, you can't push back on it because it's so acceptable. But you the same one, big, strong killer man. The minute somebody say something about the LGBT, brother, you scurrying for cover. Right. You running for cover. The minute somebody say something about the so-called Jew, like what's his name? The entertainer, the brother, the young brother that got all the TV shows under Esau, all them entertainment shows.
Nick Cannon, sir.
Nick Cannon, right? You go and say something about the so-called Jew, and you got to give up your God to be accepted back. Your God you gotta cancel your God. Talk about cancel culture. You got to cancel God when you say something wrong about the so-called Jew. And the same with this. And here's what other thing it reminds me so much of It reminds me so much of the propaganda that they pushed for so many years to empower black women over black men. There was a time before the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge, and that crazy Negro you call Gen.Yahanna, who stood on the street and had to take all the bad heat for saying something directly to black women. You understand? To help save black women's lives, I had to open my mouth and say things that at the time was controversial as hell, and that was to straighten them out. But there was a time before we got out there and did that you could not say anything bad about a black woman. You could not tell her anything about the truth of what evil she was doing. You couldn't bring up child support. You couldn't bring up good fathers. You couldn't tell her about her dress code. You couldn't tell her about her language and her spending habits. You couldn't say anything about her, or you was the evilest person in the world. And that, brother, is exactly what's going on with the LGBT community. It's like they're going to dictate what you can and cannot say. It's like if you disagree, it's like you got to be dealt with. And that is evil as hell, especially coming from the Democrats, who's supposed to be God-fearing. And furthermore, that's the proof that you people in the church are spineless.
Right, sir.
You Christians in the church are spineless because they can go to the most obvious evil things. And you, those of you in the church, you will gobble it up and accept it. You'll gobble it up and accept it. When I went to the school in Philadelphia that one winter, I went to the school and I was about to walk into the school and I glanced over at the church up the block. And I glanced over and I looked in the window of the church and I saw pumpkins in there during Halloween. And I said, I know that they're not celebrating Halloween in here. And I walked to the front of the church to see with my own eyes, and they had a poster in there, Halloween celebration. Inside the church, a clearly Druid demonic holiday that's coming up, and they were having it in the church, and it showed me how spineless that they are. And it showed me that without the truth, without the Bible, without black men's strength, Latino men, Native Indian men's strength, nobody would stand up against the evil that is coming, and this would stand on the side of the Lord. And it is why we are destroyed as a people. That is the reason we're destroyed.
Salaki, sir, if I may.
Please.
If I may, what you bringing out is so heavy, and what General Muhammad said was heavy. Even with like when Dave Chapelle opened TheCloser, the first thing he said is, I want to orchestrate the release of the baby. He said the baby went into a Walmart and shot another brother and killed him and had rapped about it. But as soon as he said something about the LGBTQ community, now he wants to get canceled, but nobody wanted to cancel him for killing his own brother. You know what I mean? It ain't Walmart, sir. Salaki.
If I could, sir, not only would they not cancel them, they're going to promote that. And if I could, sir, let me reveal a secret out there to black people and the gays, the gay community. If you don't mind, sir.
Please, get down, John.
Okay. I'm a black man, right? So I have been through the civil rights movement. Gays, you are encountering the civil rights movement right now for the gays. I'm a black man. I've been through it already. Learn from my mistake.
Right.
The civil rights movement for black people was strictly about making money for white people. Yeah. It was about nothing else. At the time, my grandfather and my mother thought somehow the civil rights movement was going to make a better life for black people. What they didn't know is that at the end of all of the marching and all of the voting, white people were going to control your economy.
Yes, sir.
And they were going to wipe out black businesses and strengthen and fortify white businesses.
That's right.
At the time, we didn't know it as black people. We thought white people loved us. We thought they were liberal. We thought they were kind. Meanwhile, they wanted to take our restaurants and wipe us out. Commander General YAHANNA, remember back in the 90s when all black people thought that Starbucks was black?
That's right.
Because of Magic Johnson?
That's right.
Listen, all black people thought that Starbucks was black owned until you couldn't even go to the bathroom in there. Yeah. Until they threw your ass in jail for going to the bathroom.
Right. Then you knew
in Starbucks. guess what, gays? Listen carefully, gays. At the end of all of this, you are going to regret that you allowed America to promote the gay community, the LGBTQ. You are going to regret the gay civil rights movement because in the end, it is going to hurt you. Can I give you an example? Mariah, I have a video that I sent you a little second ago that I found just now, just by typing it in. Let me give you the result. You think it's going to make gay men more accepted. You think it's going to stop violence against gay men. You think gay men won't be ostracized and won't be belittled anymore. Let me tell you what's going to happen at the end of the gay civil rights movement. Here's what you're going to have. Mariah, what do you have here? Read the title, please. Sir, you see how new this is. This is brand new. What's the title?
Scientist says research proves pedophiles are born, not made.
This is brand new. While you are hoping that you won't get beat up because you're gay, you won't be bullied on the internet because you're gay, our oppressor is going to find a way to venerate and normalize the man that molested you. That's what's going to happen. That all of you gays out there listening, you might think that you should be gay, but you still hate that person that molested you.
That's right, sir.
And we all know that almost all of you have been molested. At the end of the civil rights movement for LGBTQ, your molester is going to become a hero. The person that molested you is going to be normalized and brung into the sunlight. And why? So he can buy. So now we can have gay porn. Doesn't have to be done in secret and illegal. Smoking weed is legal. They took smoking weed off the street corner and they put it in the dispensary.
Yeah.
There's a time coming when child pornography is going to be normal and thriving as a business.
In magazines and everything.
Their magazines, their videos. You think white people don't know how much money is out there with young gay porn? They saw the weed money. At the end of this, all of this is going to be about money. If I need proof, I'll play this for you. Please, Mariah, quickly.
Was different in these people, and it was something that was different in a way that they couldn't control. But we had no idea, is this the kind of thing that would be different from something that they learned over the course of life, or something that they were born with. That sex network, which is cabled together, is all cabled through that same chunk of connective tissue, which I found was different in the pedophiles. So it's not that these areas of the brain are different in the pedophiles.
You can stop right there. I'm gonna stop you right there.
Question.
Go ahead.
Just so that I'm gonna stop you right there. You can bring it back, Mariah. Just because I don't want to keep crossing over there.
I forgot. So
yeah, no, that was copyright, but it was heavy what you brought out and that clip. Please give it up for General Muhammad. That was so important. That was so important that you brought out Muhammad, because you saw right to the real rubber hitting the road that this is not love for any of this. It wasn't love for us when we fought in the Civil War. We fought in the Civil War believing we're going to get free, when it was really to make us consumers and take us away from the South's wealth and power. We thought we was going to get free, and that it was a blessing, and that it was love from the empire when the civil rights movement went down in the 60s. The minute we joined them and all our businesses closed and all our doctors and lawyers and dentists all lost their jobs, and all our manufacturers and all our artists and all our creators lost all their enterprises, and we became, minimum wage workers under them. Once all of that happened, then we realized, like General Muhammad brought out, that this was just about making money off of us. And the same is going on now. Even this whole Black Lives Matter movement, all of this, at the end of this, all of this will be more money for Esau and more inclusion of us into the slave market. And the same with the LGBT, like you bring it out, the same with the children. Before you know it, your child will have to be emancipated from you, and they'll get their own bank account, and their own credit card, and then they'll be able to spend their money how they want. And being a child, their money will now go to whatever disgusting lust Esau can convince them to become a part of. You are so right with that right there, brother. Like,
Sir,
that's
one last part.
Come on.
Can I give you the other side?
Please.
Now, let's say you're black and you're angry about the fact that gay people have more power to stop someone from insulting them and that black people don't. That you can denigrate black people and be forgiven, like Jon Gruden was forgiven. But the minute that a gay person is insulted, you get canceled. If you are angry because black people are able to be disrespected and gay people are not, then you know you're going to have to blame somebody for that. You're going to have to blame the Christian church. Because there is only one reason that when you disrespect black people, they forgive you and gay people don't. And that's church. Church is why the judge hugged the killer of Dylan Ruth.
Damn.
Church is why Salaki hugged the killer of Botham Jean. Church is why when Dylan Ruth went into that church to kill those black people, they all hugged him. Church is why you have no power to punish anybody that does anything to you, and you have no will. Not only do you not have a will to punish, you think it's wrong to cancel someone for being racist. You think you should hug your murderer. You think you should brush their hair. If you're mad about the fact that the baby can talk about killing black people, and yet Dave Chapelle cannot talk about transgenders, don't get mad at Dave Chapelle. Get mad at the Christian church.
Right.
The Christian church is why you have no will to defend yourself, and the gays do. Salaki, sir.
Give it up, man. Give it up. You can't get better than that. Give it up. Like what Dave Chapelle said, we've been pushing back on for years.
Oh,
that you know, gender is a noun. You know what I mean? Like I forget the term he used, but gender is not relative. It's an actual thing. You know what I mean? You can't change your gender because you wake up one day and decide you're something else. It's not an idea. Gender is not an idea, man. It's an actual thing. And the LGBT community is trying to force you to accept a man as a woman because they say it is. That's just like the black woman. That's like just like the black woman in her day of evil was making black men accept her as a queen regardless of what she did. She could have burned down the house. God knows what she could do. And she still got to be recognized as a queen. You understand? And it was like you could not say, I mean, all that. Meanwhile, all you old spineless brothers who saw us on the street standing up to the evil that black women was doing, you called us evil. Look at them out there arguing with black women, talking to women this way. You use the same argument that the empire used to demonize us when we were trying to fix our women. When we were trying to correct our women to you, it was though, even though what we were saying was true and were facts and was what was actually going on, to you, it was unacceptable that you even say it. And you never even took a moment to examine the fact that the argument didn't start because we said these things. The argument started because black women was not going to allow us to say these things. Like there would have been no arguments in the street if black women would have said, well, I disagree with you, brother, and kept on walking down the street. It wouldn't have been a single controversial tape. The tape got controversial because when we said it, black women were so outraged that you would correct a black woman that they went crazy. Some of them pulled out knives. Some of them threatened with guns. Some of them just, kicked their way into the camp and attempted to assault brothers. Some of them went crazy in front of us in the street. Some of them called the cops and lied on us and tried to get us locked up on false charges. Like black women went crazy because it was brainwashed in their mind that they were a queen and nobody was to correct them for anything. And brother, that is what's going on with the LGBTQ community. If you open your mouth and say, brother, I understand that you calling yourself transgender, but that inside, I believe you are still a man. They want you to not be able to open your mouth and say that. And that's what David Chapelle is trying to say. You mean to tell me we can talk about killing our own, but you can't even talk about the idea that what's going on with your gender is not subject to whatever's in your mind. You can't wake up tomorrow and say you're a chicken, and then everybody got to accept and call you Mr. Chicken. You understand that it doesn't work like that. Gender is a noun. It's an actual thing. It's not what's in your brain. That's something they created and trying to force you into it. And if I could add something to it, that is the essence of 1984 Big Brother. If you want to get conspiratorial for a second, in the movie 1984, right? The master told the guy that was rebelling, he said, I will make you believe that 2 + 2 = 5. He said, I will make you believe it. And brother, he tortured that Edomite, John Hurt, in the beginning, the first one. He tortured that Edomite, and at the end, he put up on the screen 2 + 2. And that Edomite said 5. And he said, you have arrived. meaning he made that Edomite believe that 2 + 2 was 5. And brother, that's what they are doing to you in this empire. They are trying to make you believe that 2 + 2 = 5, meaning they are trying to make you believe and accept a man as a woman because that man decides that he is a woman. So you cannot differentiate him from an actual born woman, or it's an offense and it's a problem, and they have the right to get angry and lose their damn mind. It was a time not too long ago in America that damn near a woman had a unauthorized right to assault you, to smash you in the head, to burn up your clothes. And
I think that time is right now, sir.
Well, thanks to the Israelites, you're right though. But thanks to the Israelite School of UPK, there's some amazing pushback, and thanks to the sisters of the I.S.U.P.K, there is a new kind of woman being taught to be out here on these streets, and the sisters are bringing in a new spirit, which is absolutely necessary and is going to actually do some help to our nation. That monster that's been running around here, that's come out of these churches, that's been a selfish beast and has cared nothing for her own but herself, and has willingly give her son to be a gay man to this empire and to these churches. She's finally going to get pushed to the side, and some real production on helping blacks and Latinos and Native Indians will begin. So you're right. It's still going on in full force, but thanks be to the Lord that it's not. Also, something else that the LGBT and the gay community is losing. The LGBT and the gay community is losing black women's support for their little entertaining ways. Black women are beginning now to see that supporting and loving the LGBT and gay community has, in essence, put them in the crosshairs, because now the LGBT community wants to be accepted as her. And that's one of the things David Chapelle brought out that was so right. That they want to cancel you, black woman. They want you to no longer. He brought up a good example with Caitlyn Jenner. He said Caitlyn Jenner been a transsexual for 1 year and won some contest like Woman of the Year.
He won Vanity Fair's Woman of the Year, and Hillary Clinton has won that.
Exactly.
Michelle Obama won that.
Exactly. Women that have done great accomplishments. This cat stopped swimming, put on a dress and a wig, and win Woman of the Year. Like they done lowered women to a level that's beyond belief. And if a black woman could have an ounce of intelligence in her goings, she could grow up to realize and learn that this community is about destroying her, that this community is about wrecking her life. And now she's beginning to see it, and she's going to see it even more as more of our sons and daughters get caught up into that and their lives get destroyed as well. So it's a beautiful thing to learn this truth and come back to this body and do something great in the work of the Most High, man.
Damn right, man.
Damn right.
So I believe Officer Yediah has another one. Go ahead. Go ahead, Doc.
Colin Powell, sir. If I may, sir. It says Sidney Starr confirms she's been dating Darius McCray since February. Sidney Starr, sir, is a transgender rapper / model. He's dating the brother that played Eddie Winslow from Family Matters, Darius McCray.
So you remember him, don't you? You remember the family members? The one who seemed like a real brother on that show.
Brother, I have no idea what y'all talking about.
Oh,
I don't know none of these people y'all talking about.
Remember the Steve Urkel show?
I remember the Steve Urkel show.
Okay, this cat was famous among the tribe of Judah on the Steve Urkel show.
Oh yeah, I remember him.
There you go. Well, he's a homosexual man. Him right there, and that's a man right next to him in that picture.
That's who?
That's a man.
Imagine that.
And he can't. And the Sidney Starr, who's a transgender brother, he came out and he's dating the brother from Family Matters.
Well, I'll be
he's a homosexual man, and they, doing the whole thing. And of course, he getting back in the news and getting famous, and is rebooting his dying career from dating this transgender. You dying?
Colin Powell. That was pretty much it, sir. He denied it, but Darius, the brother that played Winslow, denied it, but the transgender said they've been messing around since February.
All right, there you go. They in that. Is that a real picture or is that a deep fake? That looks like a real picture right there.
Go ahead.
I sent you the video. If we can play it? But here's the video, right?
Yeah, can we get the picture off my damn screen? This is a joke.
For sure. She was on one of them Love and Hip Hop shows. You know what I mean? And she ain't hiding nothing. She got the full rod, the package. You know what I'm saying?
And now remember this. When all of you thought that you believed in science and we didn't, the UPK, we're the champions of science.
Right.
Even General Yohanna is a champion of natural science. Male and female created he them. That's the Bible. You old liberals and transgenders, you don't even believe in science.
Right.
You believe in the birds and the bees.
Right.
So lock you, sir.
No,
well, that's
listen, that's so sad. Winslow was like the masculine one.
Yeah, Winslow was like the one you thought was gonna be normal.
And he looked like a horrible, horrible drug addict. And if I could, that Steve, I hate to break the bad news, but the Steve Urkel show was about gay life.
Oh Lord.
Sorry to say. Like a ton of them shows are disguised as something else, but they really about the young gay life. Like that's why he was quirky like that and couldn't deal with females and was all retentive and and all of that is them making a comedy out of gay characteristics to do them type of shows. So it was shameful. Yeah, man.
That makes sense. Well, anyway, that's them and that's blah blah blah. Go ahead, you die. Meek Mill, please.
Colin Powell. Meek Mill's album cover, The Eternal Conflict of Black Women Who Love Hip Hop.
Sir, this story was all over Facebook. We could probably play this, I would assume, because this is all over Facebook.
Okay.
This is some Edomite that noticed a advertisement for Meek Mill's new album on a bus, and this is what he said.
Going on. So Meek Mill's putting out a new album. Somebody heard about it. And he put it on a bus. And how much falls today? Let's see what he has to say.
Look at this fucking bus. Look at this bus that goes quiet in my neighborhood. What the fuck is this? What the fuck is
that's
this? What is this? This is on the side of a bus rolling through your street. Rolling on the side of your street. Is this what you want, black women? Is this what you want, black women? Is this what you want? Look at this bull fucking shit.
Not all, but some.
So, sir, it got so famous because this clip was famous because this is clearly an oppressor who hates black people. And so he's angry that this bus has a black woman bent over. At the same time, he's absolutely right because it does denigrate black women. But of course, his objection is not sincere because he loves black people.
Right. His objection sounds like he hates black people.
He hates black people, correct. And so this is Meek Mill's cover. You know, black women all bent over and disgusting like that. This white man who hates black women is able to use this to, of course, shame us. Shame more of our poor decision making. So
listen, if I could, and here's what you could bring it back, Desmarai. Here's what I want to know is that why isn't he angry at the multi-billion-dollar record company that created like Meek Mills didn't sit down with a paintbrush and decide to paint that. Muhammad, check your text messages. You understand? Like he didn't sit down and paint that painting with a paintbrush. That was some corporation that's promoting his album that sat down and put that disgusting picture together. That's who the hell did that. You understand? Not Meek Mills. Meek Mills didn't do it. Meek Mills is sitting there doing his music. But that record company knows just what to push to denigrate us. So he should be it's easy to get on camera and curse out Meek Mills because of the album cover. It was evil as hell. That album cover is evil as hell. But that album cover is that way because that's what Esau is doing. That happened with Nicki Minaj just the other day. Remember the whole controversy with Nicki Minaj with the East Indians, with the East Indians gods?
I didn't even hear about that, sir.
Well, Nicki Minaj, going back about 6 months, not Nicki Minaj. What's the other one? Cardi B. Cardi B had went to a photo shoot in which they used a sneaker and had her dressed up like some East Indian god, which is like a controversy. It's like it was offensive to them. And so they all got mad and protest. And Cardi B came out and said, look, I didn't know. Y'all ain't got to drag me. She said, I mean, they called me to the photo shoot. They give me the clothes, I put it on, and that's that. She said, I don't know what it is that they're all the different details. And the same is with this. But that Edomite ain't mad at the record companies that not only put out that album cover, but when she did this, and you see how she got the sneaker in her hand. I think that's a sneaker in her hand. Yeah. See how she got the red sneaker in her hand? Because something with them shoes is a controversy. I think when you go in this temple or something, you're supposed to take off your shoes or something like that. So they did the poster. Now, some evil bastard who wanted to attack the East Indians, they turned around and made this poster with her with the sneaker, knowing that the East Indians is offended by it. So she go and dress up like they did. They snap the photos. She don't know the difference. She just holding the sneakers. They add the arms and all that stuff in there and make the thing disgusting like an attack on the East Indians. And so, of course, she get the blame for it when she's just making the music. It's the corporations that's doing that. And so why the hell this Edomite ain't mad at them? Like Meek Mill's coming out of the hood. Of course, he ain't going to make all the best decisions. He come out of the street scrapping, trying to survive in these streets. I'm not giving him a pass for his mistakes. He did a whole lot of stuff in his ignorance as well, okay, that I've heard about. All manner of evil that I've heard about. None of that is excusable. But for an Edomite now to jump out and be so outraged, these Edomites always acting like they got the higher moral ground. Like what they done did and what they do is so morally right. And that they're pointing out the evil that we're doing all the time when they doing it all day long. They worshiping Satan, drinking blood. They got white boys with albums with all of that. When you gonna go to the record companies and say, we ain't gonna let you play this type of music that destroys our sons and daughters? When you gonna do that? Like he ain't mad at that Jake whatever that little Jake singer is that's real popular now that puts on a dress and wears all kind of costumes like a woman. He ain't mad about none of that.
And if I could, sir, now you just exposed, of course, who's at fault for rappers wearing dresses and purses.
Boom.
They show up to that award show and they pull out a dress and say, this is what you're wearing tonight.
That's right.
This is what you're wearing. Here's your purse. Well, you sure I should wear a purse? Oh, it's the big hot thing in Paris.
That's right.
It's the new couture. This is what everybody, oh, what the hell does he know? Some
Right.
white man tells him to wear a purse to the Grammys. He putting the purse on. He putting the dress on. He's from the projects. He found out 10 minutes ago he was wearing a dress tonight.
That's right.
Same with the bus. He found out. Well, we already did the bus thing. Oh, he probably didn't even know when they
Please.
did.
Right.
High. He's getting high. And the people that don't get high are handing you your dress for this evening's award show and putting your poster next to a naked behind on a bus. You're getting high.
Right.
To lock you, sir.
Listen, you're right. You 110% right. That's exactly what the hell is going on.
So also too, you know, go on with the ball players. All them cats getting millions of dollars. You gonna put this dress on tonight.
Yeah.
That one cat, I forget his name. What's his name?
Russell Westbrook.
Yeah, Russell Westbrook. How he taking a photo in a dress? He had a mini skirt on.
Found out 10 minutes before.
Yeah.
He was getting the dress, and that dress, to go buy it, it's probably about $10,000 because that's some designer who's selling dresses and hoping that white teenagers will now buy the dress because of what Russell Westbrook. And now that dress is probably, you can go Google how much that dress costs. It's probably an insane amount. He finds out 10 minutes before that he wearing a dress tonight. Lock you, sir.
You're right. Yeah, man. You are absolutely right. So he talking that mess, but really he don't care about us. And you Christians, you'll jump on board and say, "Yeah, you see, you right. You right." Meanwhile, you know, them churches full with women that are the most promiscuous women in the world, and turning out young gay men like you are GM building cars.
That's it. And there's anyone who compromises what they believe for money learned it from the Christian church.
Yeah, for sure.
You're mad at rappers and athletes for wearing dresses, thinking that they're being against God. Where they learn it from?
Right.
There is no organization that is more fundamentally corrupt than the Christian church. And anyone that compromises what is good and right for money, they learned it from church.
You right. Good story, brother.
You die.
Con. Police officers resist getting vaccinated for COVID-19. Now they're number one killer.
Like, boy, oh boy, playing with the Lord with these plagues is no joke. Like, we the only ones that said it. Once again, we got hated for saying it. We the only ones that said it, that the coronavirus is a curse from the Most High. Like you're gonna have to stop being so practical when it comes to the Most High. You're gonna understand, you're gonna have to start to understand that the Most High is alive and functioning, and he's seeing and hearing every damn thing. And you had better change how you operating in this world, because this right here is a textbook weapon by the Most High that you die about to read. Go ahead, you die, because this is amazing to me. When I heard this, I was amazed that I heard this.
Amazing.
Wakan, sir. The disease is the leading cause of death among police, surpassing gunfire, but resistance persists.
You hear that? The leading cause of death. The Lord said, whatsoever measure ye mete it, it shall be met unto you.
That's right, sir. That's it.
Whatsoever a man soweth, that shall he also reap. Like, you go out and kill and slaughter black men and torture and punish them and do all kinds of horrible things to them, then the Most High come back and hit you in due season with the coronavirus. And now you ain't got to worry about us doing nothing. You ain't got to worry about none of that, because now you got the Lord against you. You got the Most High taking you out faster than anything that you could face on the street. Now, brother, if that ain't the Most High, I don't know what is. You die. Please give me some more.
Colin Powell, sir. It says police departments around the country are trying to persuade officers to get vaccinated against COVID-19 as their rates lag behind communities they serve, but resistance persists despite their efforts that include mandates.
Wait, let me stop you right there for a second. Let me help them out before you even get to the story. The whole reason that the resistance is in is because they are Donald Trump white supremacists filled in the police force. That's why you get the resistance. You get the resistance because of the Trumpers, the old Donald Trump white supremacists who don't want to take the shot. And guess what? Now the coronavirus is putting them down, brother, more than anything else. Go ahead. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut in on you. Let me hear you out.
Colin Powell, sir. Some officers are filing lawsuits while others are quitting their jobs or applying for religious exemptions in response to vaccine requirements.
Right.
Like that, like once again, you perform racism against blacks and Latinos. The Lord bring the coronavirus and it perform racism against you. Like, how you gonna have a virus that unproportionately target the police department, and you telling me that ain't the Lord? How you gonna have a virus that it said? Read that part again, you die, where it said more than the communities that they're serving. Read that part right above that.
Colin Powell, sir. It says police departments around the country are trying to persuade officers to get vaccinated against COVID-19 as their rates lag behind in communities they serve.
It lags behind in communities they serve, meaning they're getting less vaccines than the communities they serve, and they dying more from the coronavirus than they would from the normal police force work. That's the Most High.
Yes, sir.
It's like that's the Lord chasing you down specifically and bringing down hell on you. And if you're a police officer, man, you better be scared to death to touch the Lord's chosen. And listen, and that's where it's going. It's going just like it was with Moses. It's going there. It's going. The Lord gonna do enough miracles before you reading a miracle right before your eye. He gonna do enough miracles that they're going to be scared to do the things that they've been doing to blacks and Latinos for so many years. They're going to be scared to do it because they're going to know the Most High is alive and well and watching what they're doing. And that goes for you, those of you in them churches, in the mosques, in everything you're doing. You better recognize the Lord is now stepping back into the earth to bring judgment, man. And he going to bring some horrific judgment on this earth. And right now, I mean, a cop ain't got to worry about getting shot or in a shootout or anything because the coronavirus beating him more.
Come.
And he's still pushing back. And listen, the Lord said, I will harden their heart. He done hardened Donald Trump's heart. Donald Trump trying to get another term. Republicans' hearts is hardened. They want to go back at it again. Their hearts is hardened. They don't want the shot. They don't want to take the jab. All of that is the Most High working in the midst of it and bringing punishment to bring this place down. So,
sir, I'm sorry, sir. I can tell you how I was shot.
Go ahead, Joe. Go ahead.
Good, sir. For those of you brothers and sisters listening out there, and if you're feeling weak in the faith, if you're feeling like the Most High God isn't seeing your suffering, or he's slow to help you, this story is a faith-affirming story.
Yeah, right, Joe.
This story is a miracle.
Yep.
This story means that God is with us.
Yep.
COVID-19 virus happened right at the end of all of the controversy about the police murdering unarmed black people.
Yeah. Bring it back to him, yeah.
The COVID-19 virus came because black people complained that there were too many racist police officers. The Most High God that sits in heaven looked down on black people, and now he did everything that the court system couldn't do.
That's right.
He did everything that marching couldn't do. Right. Do you understand what Gen.Colin just said? I didn't even know about this until before the show tonight. The coronavirus is the #1 killer of cops.
Damn.
Coronavirus.
Damn.
#1 killer of police. And the police that don't die quit.
Damn.
You know what that means? Not only are we getting justice for what they've done to us in the form of blood, we're also getting them to quit. We're firing them. The coronavirus is firing the cops. The ones, they don't want the vaccine, so they quit. They're either dying or self-firing. We asked the court system to fire them. We asked the court system to pay a life for a life.
Right.
The court system couldn't do it. God did it. Remember that when you think God can't help you.
Damn right.
He said this. Christ said, pray for vengeance day and night. That's in the New Testament. That's in the book of Luke. Pray for vengeance unceasing day and night. This is a miracle.
Yes.
Defended the poor, the sick, the afflicted. Barakatah Yahweh Yahweh.
Damn right. And if I could,
please.
If I could, go ahead, General. Go ahead, please.
Go ahead, read it.
The book of Ezekiel, chapter 35 and verse 6. Therefore, as I live, saith the Lord God.
And this is just to piggyback off what the generals are saying. The Most High said, as I live. Remember, as I live. Go ahead.
Saith the Lord God, I will prepare thee unto blood.
The Most High said, if I'm alive, then they gonna die. He said this to Esau. He said, if I'm alive, if I'm real, then they will die. Go ahead.
Khan. And blood shall pursue thee.
And death gonna get you, read.
Khan, sir. Since thou hast not hated blood.
Since you bring so much death to my children, if I'm alive, then death gonna get you. I'm gonna put death on you. Since you taking out mine, I'm gonna take you out. And that's proof, like the general just brought out, in your faith that your God is real, Israel. The black and brown people, your God is for real, for real. Right. He ain't no idol sitting nowhere, getting dusty that you got to clean off. He is a real living God that brings vengeance and death to those who hurt us.
Right.
So that's it. That's it.
I don't want to. If I could, also too, to piggyback on what Gen.YAHANNA brought out, what you brought out as well, sir. Give me Isaiah 47:6 real fast. I got it right there if you want to read it, brother. The Lord said something too, man. Like we know we here because of a punishment for what we didn't do for the Lord. But that time is at the end. And our oppressor went above and beyond the punishment that we were supposed to get, man. And now they're getting their payback. What they don't understand, the more they do things to us, the more the Lord, our God, does to them. And he let it know, he like real specific with it, like how you said, son. They was killing us unjustly, and yeah, guess who got the Rona? They do. And cops getting shot in the street right now. They getting shot no matter where they at, especially in Houston, this going on. But even with all that going on, the Lord got the Rona, that 12-pack, taking them out at a higher rate. And that's because of what they have done to us, man. You understand? That's why, like how you said, son, it's very important to see what's going on and see these signs of the times. What we got to do, we got to expound on a brotherhood. Expound on our brothers and sisters, like the Bible says in Ezekiel 9:4, like how you taught us. Expound on it, man. Because that's what the Lord wants. And the more we do that, the more the Lord going to deal with our enemies, man. Read for me Isaiah 47:6 real fast.
Isaiah 47.
Right here.
Khan. The book of Isaiah, chapter 47 and verse 6. I was wroth with my people.
Say it again.
I was wroth with my people.
The Most High was mad with us. We done committed some sins. He put us over here with them. Go ahead.
Khan. I have polluted my inheritance.
And let you know the Lord know he polluted us, man. Why did he pollute us? He put us with these other nations. He put an oppressor over top of us, man, for our sins. But now we don't come back to the Father. Fighting and clawing our way back to the Lord to do what's right. You know what I mean? To establish this brotherhood, to keep the laws and commandments of the Most High power. Go ahead,
Khan, sir. And giving them into thy hand.
Go ahead.
Thou didst show them no mercy.
They didn't show us no mercy, man. They going above and beyond. It was bad enough. It's bad enough that what they did to us in slavery, and when we talk about it, they get an attitude. Why I keep bringing it up? Why are you talking about it? Figure that's in the past. But what's not in the past, all the unjust murders are the ones who we supposed to look to for justice, give us still injustice with unjust murders. Go ahead, brother.
Colin Wakan, sir. Upon the ancient hast thou very heavily laid thy yoke.
Upon the ancient, who's the ancient? We are. You so-called black, Hispanic, Native Indians. You know what I mean? You are the 12 tribes of the nation of Israel. You are the ancient ones in the Bible, man. That's your heritage. You the ancient ones. Go ahead.
Colin Wakan, verse 7. And thou saidest, I shall be a lady forever.
They think they're going to be nice and sweet and soft forever, huh? The Lord done showed them, man. The Lord shut them down. Listen, the Lord shut down the whole earth with the coronavirus. The whole earth he shut down. And now, when you come back and say, well, we got all these vaccines, the Lord made their heart stony. Well, I don't want to take the vaccine. All right, don't take it. Now the Lord got them dying at a high rate for what you have done to us. The murder and unjust killing of us that didn't have to be, but you went above and beyond.
Right.
You ain't show us no mercy. You ain't give us the benefit of the doubt.
Right.
And for all those who say we wrong with saying that, we see all the time the news clippings when they approach somebody of their own kind doing the same thing, they give them mercy. Right or wrong, they give them mercy. They take their time with them. They be patient with them. They don't just go ahead and draw and kill them right away. No, they don't. When Dylan Roof killed them people, they took that cat to Burger King before they took him to jail. That should be enough right there. Well, the Lord God in heaven saw it.
That's right.
And the Lord God in heaven answered it. And you seeing it right now.
Right.
This is proof, Israel, that we ain't got to be like them other nations. Like how they do in, what's that? Islam. Right. They strap bombs to themselves and blow things. But we ain't got to do none of that.
Yeah. Right.
You know what we got to do? We got to start doing the Lord say do. And you see them brothers in the ghetto, them sisters in the ghetto, that's your family.
Right.
You know what I mean? You treat them how you want to be treated. Give them the benefit of the doubt. We living in hell. And let's make this ghetto heaven now. Why they life get to be hell. And the Lord's showing you right now. Sluggy, so that's it, Jimmy. Sluggy, Jimmy.
Now, listen, give it up, y'all. And if I could, this is so heavy and spiritual. I want to get to the Colin Powell story, but you got to let me get Exodus 14 and 19 real quick. 19 and 20 real quick. You run them down, because this is such a, once again, you go back and read that story. How the hell did Moses come up and deal with the Egyptian empire? These plagues the Lord unleashed, brother, and they brought understanding to Israel and punishment to the people that had abused Israel for so long. Go ahead.
Salagi, so you call for Exodus 14 and 19?
Yeah, did I get that right? Read that.
Colin Wakan. This is the book of Exodus, chapter 14 and verse 19. And the angel of God, which went before the camp of Israel, removed and went behind them.
Right, like the angel was leading the children of Israel, but he about to now come down and put a plague on them. So he removed from the front from leading them and went to the back of the camp of Israel. That's what you see in the Lord. He trying to lead you out of here. And now he done moved to the back of the camp to do some damage in this place. Go ahead.
Colin Wakan. And the pillar of the cloud went up before their face.
Go ahead.
And stood behind them. And it came between the camp of the Egyptians and the camp of Israel.
The Lord made a separation, man. The Egyptians was behind us. We was going forward, and the angel stepped behind like a mother over her hen when the predator comes, and stepped behind the camp and got ready to go deal with these Egyptians. Which, once again, why this is simple mathematics. Obey the law, statutes, and commandments, and watch the Most High work. Like, you got weapons and tools to stop all the evil that's happening to us, but you don't know how to use them because you didn't allow these wicked men to be in charge of the so-called God's house, your church. And so the Lord went in the street and got us and we gonna carry out the Lord's will. We're gonna teach this word and watch these plagues come down. Keep on going to the end of 20. Give me some more.
Con, sir. And it was a cloud and darkness to them, but it gave light by night to these, so that the one who came not near the other all the night.
That was the 20th and the 20th?
Con.
So that they couldn't come and bring no harm down on us. And brother, that's what you seeing happening right now. Like he going to play. And there's another one. I don't know if y'all know this one. I know we out of time, but there's another one where the Lord actually said he brought the plague down, but no harm came near the children of Israel when he brought that first plague down, or a few of them first plagues down on the Egyptian. Like that plague that came down from God that you reading about in the book of Exodus, that plague would perform a segregational punishment in the Egyptian empire. It didn't just blanketly punish everybody. It punished specifically the Egyptians, man. And this coronavirus is beginning to punish specifically the law enforcement agents who have been abusive and horrible to God's chosen people. You better fear the Most High, man. You better fear him. You understand? That's what a wise man would do. You don't want to? Don't worry. He'll show you how. You got a million heathens out here trying to teach you about God. You better come hear what the prophet's got to say. Read that if you got it. Was you able to pull that one? Because I definitely want to get Bill Cosby in if you don't have it in front of you. You need a second? Don't worry about it. Let's go to Bill Cosby. We'll come back to it if we come across it. All right. Can we do Bill Cosby? We're going over the time for everybody that's out there. We're going over the time about 5 minutes. I mean, not Bill Cosby, so we can deal with the Colin Powell story because that's also important. Go ahead.
Sir, what was the Bill Cosby story?
Not Bill Cosby. I misspoke. I meant Colin Powell.
Colin Powell.
Can we just deal with that right quick before we go?
Colonel will come.
Colonel will come, sir. Like it. Colin Powell, first black Secretary of State, dies from COVID-19 complications.
Keep going.
Colin Powell, the trailblazing military commander and first black secretary of the State House, whose career was defined in part by America's 2 wars with Iraq, died Monday of COVID-19 related complications.
And let me tell you something about this situation with Colin Powell. And there's many things to talk about when it comes to him and his life. Okay, but here's the one that I remember the most and would show you how evil the empire could be. They love to say America first and support the troops and support the military. Meanwhile, they gave no credit to Colin Powell for winning them wars in Iraq. That was Colin Powell that won that war. But they gave all of the credit to an Edomite general named Schwarzkopf.
That's right.
They made him out to be the bad boy, the tough guy, when this the cat that won the war for Bush. He went in there and he shut Iraq down in like a couple of months.
Yep.
And he was also the one that told them not to go into Iraq and Afghanistan. And they went in there anyway and ended up in there for 20 years just to go out with their tail out. Like this Jake right here, once again, the Lord's chosen, got up in there, and this cat is like an expert in warfare. And they gave him none of the credit because, of course, that didn't fit the Edomite white supremacist narrative. The glory needed to go to an Edomite so that they could, glorify their white supremacist power. When in fact, this was a brother that won them damn wars for them, man. This latest one he went into, he wasn't involved in that one. And this brother been on the battlefield doing all kind of greatness for them. And of course, they gave him no credit for none of that. You understand? Which I'm not saying was right that he did. It was a horrible thing that he did, but you get my point. Go ahead, Slagia.
That was it, sir.
That was it. Anybody else want to add nothing else?
We got that scripture if you want, General.
Please read that for me. Bring it back to me, Marah.
25.
Let y'all get out of here, man. 11%, I'm gonna get y'all out of here. Come on, Marah, bring it back to me.
Come. This is the book of Exodus, chapter 9 and verse 25. And the hail smote throughout all the land of Egypt, all that was in the field, both man and beast. And the hail smote every herb of the field and brake every tree of the field.
You hear that? The Lord sent down hail out. They killed all the crops, destroyed everything they had, destroyed the place. Go ahead.
Concert, verse 26. Only in the land of Goshen, where the children of Israel were, was there no hail.
Imagine that. That hail came down with partiality. That plague came down to bring justice on those that it came to bring justice on, and not on everybody else. And this coronavirus done took a turn to punish the law enforcements of the world, namely in this empire. And brother, the world better take notice and obey the Most High in Christ, man. You understand? And not only did they not recognize this brother Colin Powell, but tons of brothers, especially our Latino brothers, went into this military. And I was just telling a Latino the other day, I'm having a conversation with him, and he did not know that the Mexican brothers who didn't have green cards, who was fighting in Iraq, that their families were being deported while they were in Iraq. And some of them flew back to the United States after the war, and Donald Trump had them deported as well. Yeah. Many of them are living in Central and South America right now, having grown up in America from a baby, joined the military, fought in Iraq, and now they sitting in Latin America, barely understanding the language because they've been deported. And meanwhile, they love to talk about law and order, and they got to obey the laws, and we got to have immigration laws, and you got to stop letting them come across their border. All of it is BS because they flew them Afghanistanians in here with no paperwork. They flew them, the Haitians, they let the Haitians drown to death in the rivers on the edge of Mexico. They let them starve in huts in shantytown. They let their women sit there and bleed on their monthlies down their legs. Their children starved. They did that, but they did nothing when it came to the Afghanistanians. They flew them the hell on into the country, man. Okay, and that's not to mention the other evils they doing in their country. Okay, but we'll deal with that on Wednesday or Saturday. We'll get back into it. Hey, listen, I want to let everybody know to support this truth, to pay your tithes. Go to ISUPK.com, pay your tithes, support this truth, keep this work of the Lord going. You understand? All over this place. I want to thank the heavy hitters for coming in the building, throwing it down with me. General Muhammad, General Mayak, General Haas up in the building. Officer Marah and Yediah and Ibad holding us down as well. I thank all of y'all for joining us. I'm Commander General Yahanna, man. I'll see y'all next time live on the UPK, y'all. Shalom.
Also, religious, wrong, we not Christians out here. We will defend ourselves. You understand me? We will defend ourselves, man.
I.S.U.P.K.
Protectors of the people, black watch. Back up, back up, back up, back up, back up, back up, back up. Setting up zones every block. Protectors of the people, black watch. Back up, back up, back up, back up. We gon' bring it out. Still undefeated. Still keep the heat up. Still in the streets. Still on the block.
I.S.U.P.K.
The white man is the devil, drop dead and kick rocks. Blood of an Israelite, this for the 12 tribes. I'm a soldier, motherfucker, so I'm ready to block. Cause the line played with your life. Now who they talking about that UPK? Long beards and them niggas with them boots and braids. Racing up the children of Israel every goddamn day. Warfare, angry black man with phrase. UPK, motherfucker. Still in the hood with the ox. Setting up zones every block. Protectors of the people, black watch. UPK, them priests and prophets, we gon' bring it out. Still in the hood with the ox. Setting up zones every block. Protectors of the people, black watch. UPK, them priests and prophets, we gon' bring it out.
There is no white Jesus. Jesus Christ was a black man from Jerusalem. We're gonna get it for y'all, the scriptures, man. Fully here. Skin like bronze. But you still don't believe to love the damn oppressor. Why do you love the oppressor? nothing for you. He does nothing but murder, rape, and rob, and pillage on the dead earth. You love the pale skin devil so damn much that you turn on your own people. Black leaders are no good. Black leaders in America are nothing but Christian coons. Nothing but traitors to the black, Hispanic, and Native American people. But those are the ones you love. You love TD Jakes. You love Creflo Dollar. I'm nothing but traitors to our damn race. I'm nothing but goons, man. And love the oppressor and don't fight for their own people. We're here to teach you the truth about what's going on in America. Yeah, Revelation chapter 1, verse 13. This is the book of Revelation, chapter 1 and verse 13. And in the midst of the seven candlesticks, one like